Hi, and welcome to Tap into Hudson. I'm Steve Lenox, and I'm the publisher of Tap into Bayonne, Tap into Jersey City, and Tap into Hoboken. So we're about a week out from statewide elections, local elections, county elections. It was a momentous day election-wise, electorally. A lot of changes around the state, not so much here in the county. Things stayed status quo in Jersey City and in Hoboken. We're gearing up already for elections in 2022. But before we get into that, our special guest today is Hudson County Commissioner Anthony Romano. Commissioner, thank you so much for being here today. You're the one who introduced me to Hudson Media Group and the studio when you were kind enough to bring me on your show. But tell me, just a general question, what happened last Tuesday?
Well, before we get into that, I just want to say, Steve, you've been a great resource to all of us here in South Hudson and all throughout Hudson County. Having you being on top of the different events and the good things that are happening, like the innovation labs. And today, I forgot to tell you about what the Hoboken High School students did with regard to a Field of Heroes honoring the veterans. And tomorrow we have 3 veteran ceremonies. So I know you're plugged into everything that's important to us, and that's important that the people know what's going on in their county. With regards to the elections, go ahead. What's the question?
What happened?
Honestly, I think that the country had shifted so far one way, and then from where it was from the other way. And I think it's getting back to where this country is built upon its strength, which is moderation, compromise, respect. And I think that messages were sent loud and clear. When people go to the gas station, they have 3 children, and you look, and all of a sudden it's $60 for 3/4 of a tank of gas. You're like, whoa. And if you go to supermarket and the shelves are a little bare, people start to, be upset.
Right.
And it trickles up, trickles down to the elected officials. And I think that's what's happening here. There's a shortage of so much. People go for cars. There's a shortage of cars, and I think that there's plenty of jobs out there, but a lot of people don't want to go to work. And that's because maybe government is just, not doing the right thing.
Has government become too generous with some of these folks that don't want to go to work, giving them too many benefits?
Those in need you should never deny.
Right.
But those that are able to work should be going to work.
Right. When you look at the local elections in Jersey City and, of course, in Hoboken, now Mayor Bala ran unopposed, but his team very much had stiff opposition, right?
Yes, and very well organized by 2 of the council people that are against the mayor, and Tiffany and Jen.
Yep.
And they organized, and they were tough candidates. They worked hard, and the mayor's team pulled through.
When you look at some of the issues that you just mentioned there, gas prices going up, supply chain issues, these are issues that have nothing to do with the work that Mayor Ball is doing, that Mayor Fulop is doing, even that Senator Sweeney is doing. We know Senate President Sweeney lost his seat. So, in Hoboken and Jersey City, I think people voted more on those local issues, right? Yes. What are we doing about flooding? What are we doing about potholes? What are we doing about parks and fields? So that goes back to the
how did one behave during the epidemic?
How did one behave during the epidemic?
Fulop and Bala, where the people spoke. They did a good job.
So this very much goes back to the old Tip O'Neill adage, right, that all politics is local. How do you practice that? You've been an elected official a long time. How do you make sure you keep your politics local?
I think it's so important to never forget where you come from. And even those that that may not agree with you, may not even like you, you have to attempt to work with them. And I think to make sure that not that you go out only during the election year, it's important during your full term to commit to the good causes and the good things, not just during, again, I specify specifically that not just during the election. People have to know, you don't want to hear the comment, oh, he's showing up now, must be an election.
Right.
I'd rather be said, oh, he's always here for us. And I'm fortunate that I represent 2 cities of my life in Hoboken and Jersey City, and great things are happening throughout Hudson County, especially in Hoboken and Jersey City. And you try to support and attend to many of these duties that are needed to be performed.
One of those events you attended just this week, you just mentioned it, was a ribbon cutting at Mission 50. Great co-working space. They're an advertiser at Tap Into. They sit right there on the border of Hoboken, obviously on the Hoboken side, but at the border of Hoboken and Jersey City. The boundary is coming up right next to it.
Where they're building together.
Where they're building together, right along the border there. This is amazing work what Greg Delaquila and his team have put together. Talk about that project a little more.
Well, honestly, it was very special. First, I was excited to be there. I know the Delaquila family for many, many years. They're well established in Hoboken, the 3 brothers. They had a lot of foresight in development. they go back historically to the garment industry,
Right.
which brought their good fortunes about, and where they employed many people. My son's mother was employed by one Delaquilla brother. And to bring it together with 4 institutions that are all close to me. As I said yesterday, I'm a graduate of St. Peter's University, and my graduate degree from New Jersey City University, Hudson County Community College. I'm the commissioner representative on the board. And also Stevens is close to my heart because my mother worked in the Davidson laboratory during the development of nuclear propulsion. Not that she was a scientist,
Sure.
but she was, administrative.
She had a hand
stuff.
in it, though,
Yes,
nonetheless.
and she was very proud of that. So all these things, and to see that people come together like this, I think it was very important that they get along, these institutions, instead of
Absolutely.
usually, territorial or infighting or ego issues. But that I thought
As
was important.
all four college presidents said, right, they're going to bring the innovation from the classrooms into Mission 50 and ultimately to the marketplace, which is good for our economy, not just in Hoboken, but across the country and globally. Commissioner, thank you for joining us. We're going to take a quick break, and we've got a lot more to talk about.
Definitely.
We'll be back in a minute. Thank you.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
Introducing the all-new Ford Maverick. A truck for people who do stuff. And people who make stuff. People like Gabrielle Union,
I make this look good, don't I?
who haul whatever they want to wherever they want. Like wood to build things made of wood with. And friends to get weird with. It's for long trips that the standard hybrid engine with a targeted EPA estimated city fuel economy rating of 40 miles per gallon helps with. That an 8-inch touchscreen connects with. And any trip that this interior makes more comfortable. But we'll let Gabrielle tell you all about it.
Or I could just tell them it's a Ford truck that starts at less than $20,000 MSRP.
Yep, that works too. The all-new Ford Maverick, built to defy expectations.
Hi, and welcome back to Tapped into Hudson. I'm Steve Lenox, and I'm the publisher of Tap into Bayonne, Tap into Jersey City, and Tap into Hoboken. We have with us today Commissioner Anthony Romano from the Board of Commissioners here in Hudson County. When we left in the last break, we were talking about Mission 50 and that great project there. We also talked a little bit about all politics being local, and that was exhibited again, I think, at that ribbon cutting with Senator Bob Menendez being there. Senator Menendez brought this message of everything that's happening on Capitol Hill with innovation and jobs creation and everything else, and he tied it to Hoboken.
Not only that, because the senator has always been like a political mentor for me. I know him since I'm very young. He's followed my career in law enforcement, and he's opened doors for me when I was doing my thesis for my graduate degree with regards to community policing when it was in its embryonic stages. I think he shows what I preached, and that's what two of his biggest axioms are: make sure you always take care of those that put you where you are, and always run like you're an underdog and you're scared.
Yep.
And I think that he not only did that yesterday by showing he's a St. Peter's graduate, he lived in Hoboken, and he took the time to come down. And that last night, I followed him speaking at the Hudson County Chamber of Commerce, the OLA, and his was tape segment because he had to get back to Washington, and I followed his dynamic speech. It was about inclusivity and diversity. And I think that's important because that is the thread of support that the universities and the community college need.
Right. And again, when you talk about sticking local to politics, another conversation I had during the week, and I don't think she'd mind me saying it, was with Assemblywoman Annette Shapiro.
Good
And
friend.
She's great,
Very
and
good
she was
friend.
at an event that we were at together, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But she made a comment to me that, she hears often she's in a pretty safe legislative district. Chances are she was going to win and win big. Of course, that's a district headed by Senator Stack. Assemblyman Raj Mukherjee does a great job. But she almost took offense when, to people saying you win easily. She said there's nothing easy about it.
I'm going to tell you why. Annette worked very hard. You know, Senator Stack is a very demanding person, and that's why he is, you know, where he is. If you pass through his city, it's unbelievable. And Annette Shapiro, as his Assemblywoman, works. She was there every day campaigning for, I think, the last 3 months.
Right.
So she's completely correct. It is not easy.
Yeah.
It is very demanding. And I know when I run, I don't take nothing for granted. You got to get out there, and you have to, you know, you need people to vote for you. You can't sit up there on a pedestal and say, look what I've done. Every day, you have to prove yourself. And Annette does do that.
And commissioners, you think about your own reelection in 2022 when you should be on the ballot. Do you look at what happened last Tuesday, and does that impact how you'll run a race at all, or what you'll be talking to voters about?
Well, you know, I believe in never shutting out any segment. I know we've had some bumps in the road with the progressives due to the situation with ICE. I'm always open to, you know, I always answered phone calls, and I always respected their opinions, and you know, we try to work through it, which we have done. But when people have a tendency to become nasty and violent and disrespectful, I find that chilling.
Right.
You know, that's unfortunate. You know, and it seems that lately in this whole country, there's a divisiveness and there's a complete disrespect. I look again at Tip O'Neill. You brought him up. Tip O'Neill and Reagan. I mean, they would have a beer together. They would. To me, that embodies what politics are about. I know you have Senator Sacco. He's one that always works with people. He's an amazing man. We're fortunate we have Senator Sacco, Senator Stack, our assembly people, our board of commissioners. Tom DeGise is a wonderful county executive because the man is a man of humility, and he's a man who has an open door to all 12 cities that make up this county.
Hudson Executive DeGise, he had a good day on election day because he helped to get his daughter elected.
Yes.
I happened to be there with him about a week before when he voted for Amy, and not to say there was tears in his eyes, but there was clearly emotion. You know, the fact that he got to push the button for his daughter. Here's a guy who's committed his whole life to public service. Whether or not you like his policies, as you're saying, you got to respect the public service he's given.
Well, you know, he started out as a teacher.
Yep.
I know Tom since we were young guys in a free, what at that time was the Freeholders Softball League, and Tom played with those teams. They were the older guys. In fact, we were in high school and college, and we had to use different names because you weren't allowed to play in it. And Tom then is a teacher. Then he was a councilman. He lost a tough race to mayor to the great Glenn Cunningham. Then he became the county executive. But I think if you were there, you would have really touched your heart too on Central Avenue when it was, you know, it was presumed that she was going to be a winner. When she got up and gave her speech, and she was proud of her heritage, half Irish and half Italian, and she said, "Dad, you raised me because Mom was sick and then died when we were young. We were attached at the hip." And you could see the emotion in his reaction and in the sincerity in her speech. And I think that's something people may say, oh, come on. But you know what? That's what you look for, genuineness in people that really care where they are. The office is for us to serve, not for the office to serve us.
Right.
And that's an important thing you have to remember.
There seems to sometimes be an offense people take to what they call a family dynasty. You know, when you see the Clintons running or the Bushes, and now you see with the DeGises. But when they're in it for the right reasons, to your point, the way Executive DeGises and now Councilwoman-elect is, they're there to serve the people. And I think it's heartwarming to see, again, you don't have to agree with the policies, but just the fact that they want to serve Jersey City and serve Hudson County the way they do.
To me, it's the honor of a
Absolutely.
lifetime. I've been fortunate.
No, that's fine, Commissioner. Thank you. He gave us the break there. We'll be right back for our third segment. Thank you.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Hi, Hi, and welcome back to Tapped into Hudson. We're going to launch right back into this conversation. Commissioner, we were talking about the DeGeses and the service that they've given, and Senator Stack, and Assemblyman McCurgy, and Assemblywoman Shapiro, of course, the mayors of the big cities. So much they've done to give back, and so much you've done to give back. First, as a police officer, I believe you taught for a while, too, didn't you? You've been a teacher.
Yeah, I taught as a single father when I was young. I taught first in Hoboken High School. I worked daytime, and then I worked nights as a full-time police officer. Then I was fortunate. I taught at St. Peter's University. And then I taught at the police academy at that time in Jersey City.
Somebody else who's given a tremendous amount to the Hoboken community that I had the pleasure to meet for the first time, I know she's been a friend of yours for a long time, is Tony Tamarrazzo. She was honored with the Jefferson Award for Volunteerism, a very prestigious award, as Councilwoman Fisher described it, almost like the Nobel Peace Prize for volunteerism. She's given so much to that Hoboken food pantry. I'm sorry. The amount of food that they've given out since COVID started is amazing. This is a woman, she's a lawyer in a very big company. She's got a life all of her own, yet she finds incredible amounts of time to give back to Hoboken.
She was just the Hudson County Italian-American.
You honored her as the Italian-American of the Year.
She deserved it. Through the pandemic, she was outstanding. We really became close working together. She's on the hospital board, was instrumental keeping that going, because you know that's in limbo.
Yep.
And you know, she's an all-around good person, Tony.
Mayor Bala described her as somebody who's got a very impressive resume, you know, law school and working for UBS, I believe it is.
Yes.
And what he said, I think it was very poignant what he said, what you can't put on her resume is the heart that she's got. I mean, how important has this been for Hoboken?
You know, for people that are in need, it's important that a lot of us step up to help. You know, I have a good relationship with Jackie Cherubini from the Hoboken Shelter. We just did the race 2 weeks ago.
Absolutely, you ran that race, yep.
And we got the turkey trot coming up with LV, who also is going to donate money to the shelter. And I think
we'll be there as well.
Right.
Absolutely.
I think the county workers that transported food down, and they're working with Tom and Craig Guy's blessing, with Wally and Denise, getting people down here to help. And now the rejuvenation of the Hoboken Rotary. Tony's helping us with that. We're going to make sure we have Connor Steigerwald is now, he's a nephew of Caulfield, Joe Caulfield. He's the president. In fact, we're meeting tonight with the district governor in Hoboken.
Oh, great.
We've rejuvenated the Hoboken Rotary because some people purposely ran it to the ground. And Tony's going to be helping there. We're going to we distribute toys at Christmas time. So she's involved with that, Tony also. And whenever you pick up the phone and ask her for help on something, she's there. She was kind of involved in New York back in the day, too. I didn't know, with the Office of Emergency Management.
And yet she's not afraid to ask for help also when
No.
she needs it. I mean, she grabbed me when I introduced myself, and she pulled me aside. She said, we're going to be looking for your help. She's got some big plans for the food pantry.
Well, the YMCA, that's been
Yeah.
laying dormant. You know, I went there when I was a young boy. My son was there when having him go to classes there, photography, when he was in grammar school. And then the Y just went right to oblivion. And it's going to take millions to get it going. And it's like a hot potato. You know, how's one going to do it? We're hoping that we can get some private investment in. And Tony's spearheading that effort also. And we also have the county gave money to the veterans apartments that are there.
Yep.
And so, Tony's involved in a lot of things.
And you talk about veterans apartments. There's those veterans apartments there in Hoboken also. We're looking at Veterans Day Thursday, tomorrow, as we film this. How important is that project for Hoboken?
First of all, it's very important to me. I'm a member of the American Legion, son of the American Legion. John Carey has done a fantastic job. He has a great team. And as the older ones fade away, it's important that we help. It should not be a homeless veteran because they've given their all for their country. And as someone who's named after a veteran, my father's cousin was killed in World War II. My father served and all that. There's a legacy that we owe to those that came back from Vietnam. I mean, I was too young, I just was on the cusp there. Those veterans weren't treated properly in a war that didn't make sense, and now you look back on it, you say, what were we doing there? And we need to make sure, tomorrow I know we have 3 ceremonies that I'll definitely attend, Hoboken, and 2 in Jersey City at the Harassment Cemetery and Pershing Field. And it's important to show the support always for the veterans. Tony Smith does a phenomenal job with his Catholic War veterans. He always comes with the honor guard at the cemetery. And in Hoboken, I'm sure we'll have the police and fire honor guard there. And John Carey, again, just does an amazing job. And also, we can't forget Joanne Northgrave. She's our county veterans director. She does a fantastic job. And I chair our Veterans Committee of the Freehold.
We're talking to John Kerry and Jack Dunn, who you probably know from
Jack
Bayonne.
Dunn, yes. His plaque has been in my truck for 6 months.
Absolutely. And we're talking about bringing them into the show. 'Cause I think what people need to understand, it's only really occurred to me yesterday, we think about veterans, and you mentioned World War II, and we think about the old grizzled guys. You know, these guys are passing on now, obviously.
They would be in their
90s.
They would be in their 90s. My father went in. His graduating class at Ferris High School was cut short. He went in, and he was, I think, just turned 17 or 18, and so they're in their 90s, mid-90s.
And the men and women that served then in Korea and then in Vietnam are in their 70s at this point.
Korea, they're in the late 80s.
Absolutely. So the veterans now that we're looking at that really need this help, some of these guys are, and girls are 23, 24, 25, early 30s. So the face of veterans is changing.
Well,
go on. Finish
well, look at Iraq, all those veterans with the PTSD.
Right.
I mean, they need to be taken care of.
Right.
They got to get the mental help they need, and obviously the homelessness, we have to eradicate it.
Yeah. Commissioner, when we come back for the final segment, what I really want to talk about is the relationships that you've built over the years and how you get county government, state government, federal government, local government working together. We'll be right back with Commissioner Anthony Romano.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or a quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Good Friend Self Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer a Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Ford made their first all-electric SUV a Mustang. Rapid acceleration, reactive handling, 300-mile range. You control how it feels and how it sounds. It knows you. It dials into your preferred settings. It has an array of driver assist technology. Cameras and sensors enhance your awareness and provide you with additional control. But it's more than cutting-edge technology. It's the spirit of it. It's a Mustang.
Hi, and welcome back to Tapped into Hudson. Again, I'm Steve Lenox, and I'm the publisher of Tapped into Bayonne, Tapped into Hoboken, and Tapped into Jersey City. Commissioner, I really appreciate what you said at the beginning of the show about our efforts to reach out to the community. I know that's what you do as a commissioner and you've done as a police officer when you were serving in that position. To us, it's very important to be out there. You know, the stories are fine to tell, but going to events like that 5K that we went to last week, this is where we meet our readers, going to Ola and meeting these kids that are doing the Dia de Muertos events. How do you manage your time going from event to event? You're always busy. You're always in, it seems like you're in 7 places at once.
Deep faith in God.
Yeah.
I believe in God, and my Roman Catholic faith has carried me through some bumps in the health, and gives me the strength and guidance. When I say that, for example, 2 weeks ago there was 6 events, and you got to try to make people know that you're supportive of them. So you try to make it work. You know, the one night we had to go all the way out to Sheriff Shalary was honored by the Sicilian Club, and I had the honor of introducing him. And then, you try to make sure that, so many different events. And then, and it helps you too in many ways with business. Like I have a family business, and people gather there and they are appreciative, and, people want to be treated well, whether it be in a business atmosphere or in a governmental atmosphere. And as to your point you alluded to before, I learned as a police officer, and I learned that honestly the West Point Command and Leadership School was a tremendous opportunity that I had to go through that, that you have to network in the good times. And whether it be on the local level, state level, county level, You need to have that at the federal level. And I know working with different agencies, I learned as the incident commander when we had to work together with many agencies. When the helicopter went in the river, I was the incident commander. And you know what your support of law enforcement, which by the way, I appreciate.
Thank you.
I think that this is so important, this networking, because I'm able to pick up the phone and say, Steve Lenox, and he goes, Anthony who? Oh, you're only calling me, well, who's this guy? He's calling me now because he needs information on an event? No. Oh, Anthony, yes, we had lunch. Or Anthony, yeah, we talked and we formed some kind of relationship.
It's about building a bond that goes beyond being transactional, right?
Yes,
Yep.
It can't be transactional all the time. It has to be, that personal touch, because people want to feel that you're sincere and doing the right thing,
Right.
And obviously, another thing is about the corruption issue. They don't want to feel it, it has to be something, quid pro quo or kickbacks or that, As you see, as some people getting indicted here and there, you can't betray the trust that's given to you by the people that elect you. And different community groups, like working with the Washington Park Association, the Riverview Neighborhood Association, the Sergeant Anthony, there's the downtown, there's the Hamilton Park group with Jan, she does a great job. In Hoboken, there's so many different groups also. As I said this morning, we did the Hoboken High School Field of Honor, Field of Heroes. So I think that's important that you try to show your support.
And it's so hard to cut through that sometimes in politics, right? 'Cause we tend to be so divisive, and we talked about that when we had the 10 candidates running for Hoboken Council in the studio for a debate. Don't talk over each other. Let everybody have their opportunity. And these are 10 people that all have very big personalities, but all from the heart, right? I think each one of them to a person wanted to serve Hoboken.
But in Hoboken, it seems to gets very nasty.
It does at times.
And
what is that,
yeah,
though? What brings that out?
It used to say it was new against old, but it's not that way
No.
anymore. It's not that way. I think that it is just, a lot of it's personal. And I think that when Ravi was the chosen one by Dawn, it created a schism in their own group because they were all lock and step with Dawn,
Right.
and we were the outsiders. And I think that schism has gotten really personal, and that we have to get it back to center, where what we do is for the good of your constituents, for the good of the city of Hoboken or the good of Jersey City. There's going to be a tough race in Jersey City with Rich Bogiano.
Yep.
And the Hilltop is another group up in Jersey City, and the different messages there. Everybody assumed there was going to be Tom Zuper and Richie, but it's Dave Bing.
Yep, Kevin Bing. Yep.
Kevin Bing, rather. I'm sorry, I've had the pleasure of meeting the gentleman, but Richie's going to be in for a battle. And then there was the loss the mayor suffered with Jermaine,
Yep.
which surprised a lot of people.
In Ward F. But all of this goes back to, again, how you build relationships, right? And you talk about Mayor Zimmer, and in a lot of ways, she wasn't your, I don't want to use the word typical politician, but she very much wasn't. She was very different than who you typically meet, very much rooted in serving that
But
community.
yet she was the mayor for 9 years.
Yes, she was the mayor for 9 years, exactly. Commissioner, we got to wrap it up. We're going to go about 30 seconds left, but we're still in the middle of COVID. Do you have any specific message for the people at home when it comes to fighting this pandemic?
Be safe. Try to always protect yourself. Follow guidelines with regards to sanitizers, masks, cleanliness, and how important it is. It's important that we work together to hopefully get through this horrible disease.
Commissioner, thank you for being with us today. He said it best right there. And remember, the best defense against COVID is to get vaccinated. If you haven't yet, there's plenty of opportunity all throughout Hudson County,
Right.
starting in Kearney at the Hudson County Vaccination Center. You can follow Tap into Bayonne, Tap into Jersey City, Tap into Hoboken. We're giving you regular updates where to get the vaccinations, where to get the boosters, and of course now children between 5 and 11 are eligible for the pediatric booster. So please be safe and be healthy, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.